Open your Bibles, Proverbs 25, fathers, sons, men's groups. We're going to talk about a city with broken walls. My favorite verse from this chapter is the very last verse, verse 28. A person without self control is like a city with broken down walls. So, 3,000 years ago, when Proverbs was written, cities really were dependent on their walls for protection. If you didn't have walls up for your city, then raiders, other countries, pirates, whatever. They could come in and attack, and all of your people would be pillaged and destroyed. So, for today, name some of the enemies that attack when you don't have self control. Maybe think about some of the modern day enemies, when you don't exercise self control. What are some of the things that you're leaving yourself vulnerable to? Take some time to answer that question. Now, the next question is going to make you be a little creative because, the city with broken walls is an old analogy. We don't have cities and walls like that anymore. So, what's a newer analogy? Like, for example, maybe it's a quarterback without an offensive line, or maybe you can think of a more creative example. And then the last question is, what are some practical ways to strengthen your self control muscle? I mean, think of it like a muscle. The more self control you have, and sometimes this is harder when you're younger, it seems like younger boys have less self control. But over time, as you grow into teenage years and into adulthood, you can eventually develop more self control, which is good for you in the long run. So, dads, maybe you can share some of the practical things in your life that help you to develop this muscle. Because remember, a person without self control is like a city with broken down walls.